as I road trip around the country, travelling to both New Zealand's most iconic fishing destinations and stepping off the beaten track to show just how good Kiwi fishing really is. Whether it's a girls' trip, fishing with a local, or riding solo, I am on a constant quest to satisfy my insatiable fishing addiction. Welcome to Trade Zone Addicted to Fishing this week. I'm about to pull into the Whangarei Deep Sea Game Fishing Club here in Tutukaka, and I'm meeting with a very special man, John from Blue Water Marine Research, and he has a whole heap of information to share with me and with you about the bluefin before I head down to Waihau Bay and try my luck at catching one.
They seem to have turned up off East Cape and Cape Runaway for the last 40, 50 years, and they've been found there commercially by the Japanese in the 60s. The tuna longline boats have known they've been there for quite a while, and now the recreational boats are beginning to find that within range are these great big southern bluefin tuna. Come through probably from the Indian Ocean and South Australia and up the east coast of New Zealand in June, July. They often get to 30 years old, and the maximum age is that's about 40. The one thing you find out with the tagging studies is quite a lot of these fish get recaptured, and the recapture rate sort of like 19% or something like that. It's quite high.
That is quite high. Meanwhile, down in Waihau Bay, it's 3 a.m. and we're about to launch the extreme.
So what we're doing here is just setting our drags this morning. We're using a 15 kilo setup, and as a general rule of thumb, we usually set the drags at about a third of the line weight. So today we're going to have about 5 kilos on strike, and then we'll test above the button and also up on sunset, just where we know exactly where our drag is. Sweet, perfect.
See this little bad boy here? This is the Red Gill RG1 Eagle. Now this has been responsible for some amazing southern bluefin tuna this season. Yesterday we saw a fish weighed in, it was 136 kilos, caught in 500 metres with this little puppy. We're about to send him out into the big bad ocean and see what he can bring us back. We're cruising at 7 knots and we've just gone over a nice temperature break. So in go the Red Gills. So we've got a squid dredge. It's basically just a spreader bar with a whole heap of luminescent little rubber squids which catch the light, and then the bluefin come up on it and they think it's real squid. So just helping us with our spread, create a bit more splash, get their attention a bit more. So I don't normally use these, but I had a mate, George, who's with us. He reckons that he had bluefin last week coming up on the squid dredge, so it's only got to help, eh? So let's give it a nudge. And just like that, we've been hit. Just as we thought, we've been hit on the shotty, and we've got the brown Sanmar RGT lure.
Right on light, eh?
It's not really running much.
So just cruised along this morning and right on daylight there, just to change the light, shotgun went off, so never saw it. We're not sure what it is yet, but hopefully it's the right species.
Come on, be a big barrel tuna. If it was a tuna, it would be pulling a lot more line like a southern.
Fingers crossed, eh?
I have a feeling it may be an albie, but let's hope I'm wrong.
Little albie, I think.
Yeah, I think it is an albie.
Though. That's right. Albacore.
The what?
Nice work.
Woo! Yeah! Wow, that's a donkey of an albie. Woohoo!
Not a bad start to the morning.
Not a bad start at all. This is primo. Well, this is the lure that did the damage yet again. It's the RGT Sanmar lure. This is actually the exact same lure that we got Helen's 99 kilo southern bluefin on last year. So, not a bad albie. Thanks, mate. Good practice for my southern bluefin today.
I reckon.
Yeah. Woo!
Oh, let's go find his bigger cousin, eh?
Yeah, good practice. Good practice. Let's get the lures out. After the break, we hook up to a monster and I am in the pain chamber.
Woohoo!
This week we're fishing in Waihau Bay, targeting tasty bluefin tuna. And I've been lucky enough to sit down with John from Blue Water Marine Research.
For a tuna, they're reasonably slow growing. They're cold water tuna, so they're in the cold water a lot. They have a high fat content, especially when they've been feeding around New Zealand, so that makes them good to eat. They have an internal heat transfer system, so there's a countercurrent blood vessels going there so that they can maintain their body temperature above 10 degrees, 8 to 10 degrees above the water temperature, which makes their muscles really efficient.
Yeah.
But then you don't want to have that fish come on board with all that built-up heat and not get cooled down quickly, so that's important to ice them down when you get them on board.
The difference between playing these fish on heavy tackle and a light tackle is we just got to take our time
and be nice and smooth.
Be patient, can't rush it.
Good things take time.
They do. It's like cheese. Bluefin and tuna are like cheese. Drag backed off. We spent a fair few hours out here, but couldn't land the big one before the weather packed in. So we went home and came back down to Waihau a few weeks later. Unfortunately, Lisa was overseas, so we got a different crew to come with us. Have you noticed much of a pattern in terms of, say, the full moon or the new moon or anything like that?
The commercial guys often say that before the full moon is when the fish are most available. July full moon used to be one of the periods that they would fish down there, but that was often further offshore.
Okay.
And it seems that in June the fish are turning up a bit closer and within range of the recreational fishers. We're still trying to work, this is only the third season, so we're still trying to work out the actual pattern of these fish and what holds them closer to the coast.
So that was a good launch. Completely dark, but with my Ray Marine radar, I have complete confidence in where to go. You can see the targets turn up, and that's other boats. This time of the year, you get a few boats that want to come out here for the gold rush, for the tuna rush, so radar is pretty important. The East Cape of New Zealand is a very, very special place. One of the only places in New Zealand that you will see the sun rise and the sun set on the water. Now, we've got some very special lures here. As you all know, I run Red Girl lures, wouldn't run anything else. And I'm hoping we can come across some bluefin today. We've just re-rigged everything with 300 pounds fluoro. So when we do get onto that good fish, we can swing off the leader and make sure that we land it. We're also using 15 kilo today. So we are playing with a bit of silly string, but if we get a good fish, it could be a record and something a little bit different. Running lures quite a lot further out because when you're targeting bluefin, they've got really good eyesight and you want to have it in that clearer water further back. So this one here, this is an RGT lure. So it's got a slightly weighted head. So it sits a little bit lower in the water and not too much lower, but it basically gives a different action and sits lower. So that can be quite beneficial for tuna. It's got the same bung in it that we drill a hole and put some rubber, and then we can actually place the hook and see it sticks up. So in the water, swimming like this, fish comes and hits it and they hook, and we're away laughing. This is what game fishing looks like in the middle of winter. Got the duvet, 2 puffer jackets on, nice and toasty. Sun's just come up, 7 a.m. Haven't seen much on the Ray Marine sounder yet, but this is some really good water. We've got 17 degrees. Feels pretty fishy.
Squid is a major part of their diet. They'll eat jack mackerels or other mackerels that they come across, but they also eat salps and crustaceans, pelagic crabs and amphipods.
Okay, so we need to talk to Nathan Adams at Red Girl about making a deep diving crab type lure. All right, throw my trusty lucky visor back on for the fight. Yeah, we're hooked up. Good old RG1 Koei doing the damage again. Yoo! So we're fairly confident that this is a bluefin. I'm pretty sure it's not an albacore. We're just trolling along. Bam! Portside rigger. And we're hooked up. We're on 15 kilos, so I'm going to play it nice and smoothly. We're not going to rush this fish. Could be here for a few hours, and that's okay. We want to tire the fish out a little bit, as long as we get it in. All right, so we've got about 5 kilos of drag on the fish at the moment.
Currently fighting a what we suspect is a nice southern bluefin tuna. Luckily for us, he's gone straight down, which is, I wouldn't say too bad a thing, but when you're as deep a water as we are, there's a good chance he could spill you because we're only running 15 kilo. We can't put a lot of hurt on it. But luckily Nicky's getting some line back now, so we might have turned his head, he might be coming up, so only time can tell. Fingers crossed we get it.
Tackle tips and tactics, brought to you by Smart Marine.
So something that's made a huge difference to this trip is the ocean SST maps that Paul gives us. He has sent us a map with where he thinks the best water is in terms of the sea surface temperatures. Makes a huge difference to our fishing, and he's put a couple of circles on where he thinks is really, really good. And very interestingly, Aaron Sargent from Coastal Fishing Charters here in Waihau Bay, he just caught a fish and was very generous with those marks. He read them out over the VHF, and those marks are right inside these 2 black circles that Paul has identified on the chart. So yeah, if you want a little hot tip on how to make your fishing that much more successful, I highly recommend touching base with Paul from Ocean SSTs.
For all your fishing needs, head on down to your local Smart Marine store.
He just does not like the look of the boat.
Coming up after the break, the bluefin battle continues. This week we're targeting bluefin tuna in Waihau Bay off the East Cape of New Zealand.
There seems to be quite a few really nice big barrel fish around that sort of 130 kilos. How many of those per season do you think that you'd get?
Last year, I think there was about 12 over 100 kilos, and the heaviest would have been 150. But the average weight last year at Waihau Bay was 78 kilos. That's average. So that's a decent fish.
It's a very good fish.
The new bag limit of 1 per person per day is introduced this year, and there's going to be a discussion with the ministry about what might happen in the future.
So the most important thing with chasing bluefin on light tackle is very smooth angling and not making any sudden movements or jerks and keeping that line really tight. What can happen over the several hour fight is you can actually wear a hole in the side of its mouth, and what will happen is if the line gets slack or the fish shakes its head too violently, you'll actually run the risk of that hook falling out the side of its mouth, and it's happened before where people have lost the fish on the leader, or it's just thrown the hook while it's been down deep.
Things are starting to get pretty serious. My current situation is I'm just sitting here doing little prayers in my mind to Poseidon and the universe and the Olympian god of the oceans, because I am so grateful to be hooked up to this fish. We have waited 2 long days to catch this fish, so I'm so stoked that we have it on the line right now. You have no idea how much we've been praying for this moment all day. Our weather gap's closing up. End of play tomorrow, so we only have 1 more day to put towards us, so pretty stoked. Just everything, every cell in my being right now is visualizing sliding that fish into this boat. So it's just taken another run. It's almost dumped the whole entire top shot, which is awesome. We want this to happen. We don't want to have to rush on this fish. Everything to do with catching a fish like this is patience. We're losing light. The temperature is plummeting. You can see all three of the boys huddling in the cabin, leaving me to battle the fish on my own out here in the freezing cold. There's something exciting about playing a fish when it's almost dark. This adds to the excitement. Okay, and it's taking a big run again. He just does not like the look of the boat. Personally, I quite like this boat, but... Okay, we've just clicked into 3 hours now. Game fishing in the middle of winter underneath the stars. Who would have thought? We're now at the 4-hour mark. Keep going, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. So we've just moved the fish onto the starboard side of the boat. We've been playing the fish like this for over 5 hours and we haven't been able to get what we want, which is to get it up, obviously, on the port side. So we're just changing tactics a little bit because it could behave differently on the side of the boat. Let's hope so.
Yep, the worst has happened.
Can you unclip me, George? Take this off. That is so gutting. So, how long was that? Like nearly 6 hours. That RG1 Koei. That was a good fish. That was a good fish. Absolutely gutted and shattered as well. Oh well, no sashimi for dinner tonight, guys.
Well, that's it from us at Trade Zone Addicted to Fishing. We hope you've enjoyed Season 6. We're going to leave you with a look back at some of the good times, and we'll see you again soon for Season 7.
We're going to bring out the big gun. Double the fingers crossed. Incredible. Check that out.
Oh, you ripper.
exciting. I love this.
When we go fishing at Waihau Bay, we stay at Oceanside Apartments. And a big fat kia ora goes to Paul from Ocean SSTs, Sarge from Coastal Fishing Charters, and Gillian from Kitchen Chaos. Gear, Care and Catch, brought to you by Trade Zone.
We're here at Trade Zone in Dargaville. Let's go to meet Chris and the team. Hey Chris, how's it going?
Hey Nicky, not bad. What brings you to Dargaville?
Thought I'd better stop here and get some cameras, mate.
Oh, okay. That's good.
No, I'm just kidding. I didn't come to Trade Zone for cameras. I was actually just driving past and I just remembered I've got a filleting station at home and I really want to put a couple of taps in. I've got a cordless drill, but I don't really want to use that on stainless. So what have you got
So
for
what
me?
you need is one of our Starrett bimetal hole saws.
Perfect, yeah.
So 25 mil would be about the right size for a tap, and you need one of our quick release arbors for it
Yes.
to go onto as well. So that just drives it, just screws on, and that easily moves back and forth for your drill to fit in.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
And it
That's
fits.
perfect. I'll take that one, please.
Okay, cool, thanks.
For all your engineering needs, head in store or order online at www.tradezone.co.nz. Check out our YouTube page for tips, tricks, and entire episodes of every season. And like us on Facebook to keep up to date with competitions and all your fishing news. Trade Zone Addicted to Fishing is proud to be with Extreme Boats. Powered by Honda Marine, we tow it around in our custom-built GFAB trailer on the back of our Mercedes-Benz V6. Smart Marine supply us with our Shimano tackle, and we find the best fishing spots with our Ray Marine. We move in precision thanks to Seastar, and maintain our gear using Ting Tools. We keep up to date thanks to New Zealand Fishing News magazine, and it all keeps performing thanks to Trade Zone.